Hey, what's up, everybody? Tasteless here, bringing you the first ever Battle Aces cast on my YouTube channel. Super excited to share this game with you. Right off the bat, we're going to be having David Kim versus Stefan. This was an internal game played over at Uncapped Games. They were kind enough to give me. And let's talk about the game for a second. You can see at the very top of the screen, there's a timer counting down from 10 minutes. Most games will end before that, but if you are not able to eliminate each other, the player who has mined the most resources will be rewarded with a win. Also, we saw a second ago, the unit card was pulled up. You can hold down the spacebar key just like this, and you will see what units you have chosen to bring in to this fight and what units your opponent has chosen to bring in, and then you tech into that. In this game, both players have gone for a fast expand. It's going to be blink tech here for David Kim. And when you hear blink, that's right, I'm talking about the same blink we have in StarCraft 2. These units can be sent out on the map. They can dive in and do extra damage and then escape immediately, as long as you're good at using that cooldown ability. Third base coming down now for David Kim. You can see you expand extremely quickly in this game. The action picks up right away. And now we see the blinks moving across the map here. On the other side are going to be recalls. These are units a little bit slower than the blinks, but they can go back to any mining location immediately, which makes them very strong for defensive moves, very good at trapping units inside your base or pinning them down. We have the third base coming down right now for our red player, but you can see it's a little bit later. So David Kim's going to come in here, do a nice blink, get a snipe on one of those recalls, and then back right up. If he can get enough if he can get enough snipes off on some of these recalls, he might be able to overpower this position, which would be huge. Taking a little bit of damage, he goes ahead and backs up, fanning the units out in a formation where they're going to be more easily able to try to move in and push into that position. Now blinking down. It looks like he's debating maybe going around and hitting from behind here. A fourth base is taken on the mini-map. If you look at the bottom right where the mini-map is, you can see that fourth base is over in the top left. Meanwhile, our red player here is going to stay on three bases. On the mini-map, you can see there has been a harass. It looks like we're going to have some dragonflies come through here. Those are going to be killing off a lot of those workers. At the same time, though, the recalls are not actually protecting this third base. You can see David Kim not totally sure. Should I try to go back and defend? Okay, he baits out the recall. He runs away. But meanwhile, all of the workers at his third have been killed off. We're going to get airships coming into play. He wants to try to use these to counter those dragonflies, but they're not that fast. Meanwhile, the recalls are pushing up towards the third base. Off screen, we see a chase occurring right now. Airships continuing to try to chase down those dragonflies, moving back up to the top. He sees them over there at the fourth. I don't think there's that many workers made yet to kill them off. Meanwhile, the push here with blinks and falcons, just a couple of them to try to back this up. The attack comes in here now. He is going to be able to take that out. An overextension here, too, with those falcons is going to cost him a few of those. The blinks are going to try to fight with these recalls. It feels like there's just too many recalls here. He might have to try to blink away. An overextension here could just cost him the game, realizing a little bit late that he's just not going to be able to take that fight. He has to run back. Now, there's still four bases up, but two of them barely have any workers here. So right now, David Kim trying to claw his way back into this game economically. Well, there's a lot more muscle coming here from his opponent.
Units reporting damage.
It looks like we've got a little bit of harass over here. It's not on screen right now, but you can see just trying to draw the recalls away. The dragonfly is staying back now, combined here with the recalls. And as long as the four bases are up, it's going to be about, well, hold on a second. He's going to try to dive in again now. Coming in here from the side, really nice sniping. It looks like David Kim going to be having a hard time. We're seeing the arc of units kind of surround this position, a blink away, trying to reinforce as best he can. But at the end of the day, it just seems like Red's going to have just barely too much. So now he's going to have to go back and basically brace for impact. He's got his airships, his falcons, and certainly a couple of blinks underneath that to try to defend. The minimap is dark. He doesn't know where his opponent's going to be, but it looks like we're going to have another raid coming through the air from dragonflies up at the top of the map. He's losing his units, doesn't waste any time to go back and watch his stuff die, and instead decides to do a very decisive counterattack over here to where the third base is, and I don't see anything yet. We have an animation that would show up if the recalls are going to be sent back. Meanwhile, unfortunately for Red, not really watching where his dragonflies are going, go right into those airships and are immediately shut down. He's going to both kill that and get away before the recall can actually finish. So this puts Red in a really bad position. It's now 2 bases to 3. David Kim going to go back here and try to hang on for dear life. If he can stop this push, he should be able to stabilize and get further and further ahead here. And now it looks like red backs up. Probably regrouping, probably macroing out a few more units. The Dragonflies come in here and snipe whatever they can. And as the push continues to come down, or it seems like both sides are fairly confident, but that means one of these two players has to be wrong. You can't both be attacking into each other like this. And we see just a little bit too late, red just does not have enough. And the location where we're seeing David Kim march through is basically where the third base would be, so we can't expand there. The only thing he can try to do right now is mass up back at his home base and try to hold off this attack. The lose conditions in a game of Battle Aces is if your main structure is destroyed. And right now we see David Kim is pushed into that point. It looks like the airships and the Falcons combined together are just too strong. And once you're able to get on top of where everything spawns out from, that's going to be it. GG. Thank you so much for joining me for this cast, first cast ever on this YouTube channel of Battle Aces. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future video. The future's looking good.